All right, click the links. John Channel here over at Subscribe. Sorry, I got a mailbox. Mail me some comics. So Chris Evans, Bob Iger, and the parasitical woke mind virus that's taken over not only Disney, but pretty much all of Hollywood, not pretty much all of Hollywood. So Chris Evans addresses a report that Marvel's to reunite the original Avengers. I mean, throw a Hail Mary pass. So are Disney blood-drinking lizard people? Yes, and here's why there's a BuzzFeed list of that's a good thing. Avengers reboot because Disney nuked its brand with woke, cancerous propaganda that for some wacky reason the audience is getting tired of. So there's a lot of Disney news because they're doing weird things. They're not selling movies, which is what they should be doing, but they're doing a lot of other things where they're talking to the shareholders and they're doing those meetings and whatnot, where there's a lot of vague comments about changing directions of the company, and we're going to stay out of essentially woke politics is what Bob Iger's loosely talking around, and they just keep making these woke crappy movies. So I mean, it's the talk is rather cheap when they're making like 8 out of the past 10 movies have lost money from Disney. You look at Disney, you go, shouldn't you guys be printing money? You own all these IPs that even a casual viewer could look at and go, wait, you own Star Wars, Marvel, Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean? Those are huge, huge name brands. Why aren't you making movies that sell to the audience? And then you have to look at these people and you realize that they have lizard eyes and a tail, and they're asking for $350. So Disney, in case you're not aware, has all those IPs. And it should just be like Scrooge McDuck rolling around in cash. Don't they own Scrooge McDuck? Is that Disney too? But they're not. The reason being they would literally rather push woke SJW globalist propaganda than make movies like they used to. Movies that sold to the audience, which is what they're in the business of doing. But you think that you'd be wrong because that's not really what they're in the business of doing. Yeah, that's what they're, the Security Exchange Commission and the Dow Jones. That's how they're on paper. But that's not like their real contract is written in blood, and it's to Satan. It's not actually things as they seem. Like, am I exaggerating? I don't know. Because, like I said yesterday with the Sherlock Holmes thing, when we throw out everything else and you look at what remains, you really have to examine it closely to understand what's actually going on. So figuratively, we'll say that they're making movies for some satanic purposes. So the rumor is that Disney wants to reunite the original Avengers. Why, you ask? Well, because the new movies suck hooker toes and are not getting people to pay $15 for a ticket. You want to know how much the media shills for Disney? I read this article yesterday, the MSN article, and they were saying they were going through these Disney bombs that the past dozen movies it didn't do well. They're losing serious amounts of money, and they said one of the reasons that The Little Mermaid failed was because it wasn't diverse enough. Is that insane? Of course it's insane. Nobody in the mainstream media will talk about how diversity, feminism, and the European character replacement is destroying these movies. I almost said white, and that word combination is not good to say on YouTube. They'll blame everything else they can think of. None of their excuses make sense, but they don't care. They're answering to I was going to say higher calling, but I guess it's actually a lower calling. The altar of woke globalist movies. It's weird when nobody in the mainstream, I mean, they give you a lot of hints with the whole Maria Abramovic writing in blood on the wall and bathtubs of blood and the spirit cooking type of stuff. I shouldn't have said that. Those kind of things. I mean, they're really dropping you a whole lot of hints with, you watch the movies, and it's not all tinfoil hat stuff when it's all there. They're making these movies with these themes. The left-hand path, the sinister path. So it's weird that nobody in the mainstream will go against the globalist grain and make a movie like just they did in the 80s. They don't even make an attempt at making a throwback movie. The only thing you get is the controlled ops from Shapiro and those types of astroturfed globalist light movies. Like, that's the right wing. No, it's something else. That's not the right wing. So stunning and brave, Shapiro. You're still making fun of blonde people in your movies. And, even before I see his Shapiro movies, the Daily Wire movies, I go, let me guess. What's the cowboy movie with Gina Carano? I go, let me guess. Cowboys, Indians, and Mexicans are probably all involved in the movie. I can tell you who the bad guys are. even before I watch it. How do you possibly know that? They're gonna look. The bad guys are gonna look like me, aren't they? They're gonna have blue eyes or green eyes and blonde or red hair or light eyes. It's just wild guess. I mean, you're set, like say it's set in Montana or something. So there's people from Europe, and then there's Indians who actually came from Europe also, or at least Eurasia, across the Siberian land bridge at a ice age. So there's going to be good guys and bad guys, but Shapiro's going to tell the story, and the bad guys are going to look like you and I. How do you possibly know that? Dude, I don't even need to see the movie. I'm just, when you're right, like more than 9 out of 10 times. Anyway, so he's got this new movie coming out. It's making fun of the BLT agenda. It's like, wow, way to pick on that soft target. That is the lowest of low-hanging fruit because it's allowed to make fun of. I'm guessing who's going to be lampooned and ridiculed in the movie the most. Anyway, so no, Daily Wire's not on the right. It's the controlled right, but that's another video. So let's take a look at what this soy boy Chris Evans has to say about this. But tell me in the comments, do you think if they did a 2025 reboot or release or remake or continuation of the Avengers, you think that would get people back on board? And God, what would the budget for that movie be? Because the actors' salaries are so ridiculous, but you'd have to, I don't know, you'd have to ask the actors, like, we're just not going to be able to spend $300-400 million on a movie. These aren't the old days. So they're going to have to agree to work for less, because Robert Downey Jr.'s salary alone, because he had been in so many movies, I think was $65 million for that last Avenger movie. So that's like a fourth of the budget, a third of the budget. It's a huge amount of money. You just can't do that if they want to do a reboot. And the thing is, there's a lot of those actors who are in the movies probably would be on board with it, even if it was for much, much lower salaries, just because, they want to be in another big movie, because I think they killed them off in the last movie. Honestly, like, the more time it passes with the Marvel movies, and you look back on it, and you're like, yeah, that came and went. It was fun, but it's definitely over. It's over. There's nothing they're going to do that's going to bring back. But I mean, if they did a 2025 movie, it's like by that time the Avengers have been out for 15 years. Would it get people back on board? But probably not, because back on board for what? If it's the last movie it brought them back for. I don't know how you bring them back from the dead, unless that's part of who's that magician movie? The guy, the sorcerer movie. I forget the name of the movie. I actually saw the first one. I thought it was okay. I guess you could go to the afterworld and bring them back, because in Marvel Comics they do that kind of stuff. But then what's the point of bringing them back, getting people back on board? Because you just retire them again, because now they're all in their 50s, and Robert Downey's probably in his late 50s, and bring out their BLT, POC, female replacements. And by 2025, they'll probably all be trans. It'll all be like Girl Power, Riri Williams, and Ms. Marvel type of stuff. And then when they make those movies, they'll bomb even harder than the Marvels, which right now is down over $100 million, I think. And unless it has incredibly long legs, and it's probably not, because it just was not a very good movie. So if they made this movie, it's a total admission of failure with the new diverse characters that they're trying to get people on board with, which was the Marvels was trying to roll out these characters. So I don't know if they'll go that far. Disney will do anything but give you movies that you enjoy. Hey, Disney, can I say the G word 8 minutes in? Diversity and gay characters, they just don't sell. I mean, no offense when I say that. It's not just me saying this, some istophobic Hugo Boss with tinfoil hat. It's the audience says it. And when you say this on social media, the Twitter kids lose their mind over it to defend a $150 billion Disney company, which is probably going to be bought out by Apple, and like nothing will change if Apple buys it. And you go, yeah. Okay, I'm all the straw men you want to say. But why didn't you see the movie? Why didn't the left wing see the movie? Why didn't women go see the Marvels? They don't have an answer for it, because women don't see these movies. And it kills the left wing when they go, I go, you know what women are really into? Let me tell you, I'm an expert in the chicks. Expert in the ladies. Romance is the core. Romance and family tribalism structure is going to be the core of 90% of women's movies. Romantic comedy, drama, it's something, oh dog, but it's something to do with romance. Not action, adventure. That's absolute nonsense. Anyway, so Mr. Useful Idiot Chris Evans. And I mean, these people are in such a bizarre echo chamber with no self-awareness. Maybe the peak of that was during the Wu Flu with Gal Gadot and the Imagine video. But every time you hear these people interviewed, you know they're living in a gated community, just insulated by wealth, and they have no idea what they're talking about. But it doesn't stop them from talking on these points. So he did an interview on The View. Yeah, he addressed the rumors surrounding the potential comeback. Says no official communication. You know, I always see those reports and it's news to me. I think every couple months somebody says they're getting us together, but nobody's spoken to me about it. And look, I'd never say never, but really I'm very protective, I guess, of the role. It's a very precious role to me, so it would have to be just right. What else has he been in? He's been in a couple of movies that they have not been very successful because he's that character and that's all he's known for. And didn't he do the voice of that other Disney movie that Tim Allen wasn't in for some reason, but he was actually, like, it wasn't, I think Tim Allen was busy with a Toy Story, right? And people were like, yeah, that's Tim Allen. Why are you trying to, anyway, so they're they're bringing back Tim Allen for another Toy Story movie, but he did that, and that movie actually lost a lot of money. Disney over the past 5-10 years has had a bunch of these movies that have lost money that's actually starting to catch up to Disney. So the MCU's got the concept of the multiverse. Yeah, nobody cares about the multiverse because then it means nothing matters. And it's like once you can bring characters back from the afterlife, it's, you know, it's like time travel. It's just the worst thing to do in the movies because things don't have stakes. Things need to have stakes. They need to be permanent. So that the multiverse was a key plot element. I gotta admit, like, I'm not even remembering Disney. MCU elements to movies anymore. You watch these movies and it's just in and out of your consciousness so fast because it's just you know, rice cakes type of stuff. So they could do another version of them where I guess they're older. It's like nobody cares. And now the more I think about this, if they roll this thing out in oh wait, Captain America: Brave New World comes out in 2025, but that's with what's that guy's face? Anthony Mackie is so Captain America: Brave New World. So that'll bomb. Right? That's not gonna make a huge profit. I mean, maybe it'll break even, but nobody's excited. Nobody's excited about any of this kind of stuff. Disney had its run, not Disney. Marvel had its run, but the more I look at Disney, I think, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Disney if somebody else can buy them out. Like Apple can buy them out and try to start to turn Disney around. But I mean, Apple's as woke as Disney. So it doesn't matter if, you know, Bob Chapek, Bob Iger, whoever's the next guy on board, nothing really matters because the people who are, like you saw that interview, that Zoom call with the people at Disney, some of the top people at Disney, and they are fully on board all this BLT trans kids type of stuff where they're telling each other their pronouns and that their kids are all this kind of, you know, the little boys are, you know, like too much information to have these chicks in a Zoom call, a public conversation, talk about their kids' sexuality. Yeah, really deeply disturbing. But if you really want to kind of put your finger on peak Disney, what was that movie, Strange World? Try to watch 15 minutes of Strange World. It will, you'll watch that and you go, what is going, it's not just, it's like you see that and you think, okay, you see that and you see Cuties and you see a bunch of other stuff, Blue's Clues type of stuff, and you go, oh, this is a society that is, it's just not quite peak Weimar, but it's really getting close. It's like, it's not going to last, this kind of stuff. I don't think it's going to gently swing back. I think it's going to collapse and probably amidst a large-scale conflict sort of thing. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, join the Subscribe Star, and I'll see you guys all next episode.